Well, the charity was only created last year, but the reason that the charity was created was because my son Sam had leukemia. He was diagnosed in 1995, and his diagnosis came with the sort of mindset that he would not live for longer than about 3 months. So because of that, we looked at alternative ways of helping with him, and over the following 3 years which he lived with leukemia, it became very obvious that his quality of life was improved by healing.
Conventional medicine is very good at dealing with the physical side of the disease, but is probably less well equipped at dealing with the psychological aspects.
For me, my journey with Sam has awakened me to the possibilities of what healing as a therapy can do for cancer patients. And having been awakened to it, I couldn't ignore it then.
Angie came to us about 7 years ago. We did have 1 or 2 complementary therapists at the time. But really things got going when Angie got here.
So I then looked around, and UCH was somewhere that already had some complementary therapy, reflexology and aromatherapy. So I went knocking on their door, and much to everyone's amazement, I think really I was given the opportunity to prove a need.
So we appointed Angie as manager of the service, and since then we've expanded exponentially really. We've gone from about 1 therapist to about 6 or 7.
Healing is used here at the hospital as a support mechanism for the patients and the families.
And it's a hands-on therapy, so we're actually touching the patient at different parts of the body, and the energy is actually transferred from the healer to the patient.
Well, it's just made me feel better as a person. It like lifts you, because you can really get down in these places, and it just makes you feel happier. And yeah.
I would call myself quite a sceptic at the beginning, but you see the results and you can't question the results.
Headaches, severe headaches, and complementary therapy helps his pain to be relieved.
I think we see patients benefit physically and psychologically in many, many different ways. I've seen experienced doctors call for the healer to help support a child having a cannula put into a vein.
There was something going on with the energy, and that healers knew which parts of me were suffering the most, like my right leg, during their treatment. Now, I can't explain why that happens, but it did.
So it gives an overall support to all family members as well as the patient.
I felt that I could deal with what I felt inside with Ryan, because I used to get quite upset, and I remember Graham was, you know, he was very supportive.
If your loved one is going through, you know, what Annie went through, you don't feel it physically, but emotionally you're suffering as well.
If you're dealing with patients' mortality and you're dealing with them potentially dying, then you have to have some sort of resource and time available.
Angie benefits us guys because she kind of fills a void really with her team, you know.
But as busy nurses, we don't always have that time to facilitate that type of care. So I would say that this is an exceptionally important part of people's overall care.
I would be absolutely devastated if we lost these professionals within the team. I can't imagine how we could substitute for that experience, because they're now so fully part of the team that it's become part of the essential package.
Many hospitals would love to have this kind of service that we have here at UCH. The problem is funding, because the NHS, in its wisdom, doesn't have the money or funds available to provide this for many of their cancer patients. And we were lucky to meet some people that shared our vision.
Last year's event, wow. From start to finish, everything was amazing. I mean, everybody was so happy.
I think people who came to that event actually got a lot more than they came for.
What motivates me to carry on doing this is because I feel deep in my heart that what they're doing is really, really helpful.
We absolutely would like to see complementary therapy expanded to other hospitals. I mean, we'd like to go further than that. We'd like to see complementary therapy, an essential, mandatory part of any cancer team.
Because it allows me to know that because the demands on my time are so great, I can hand over and know that my patient will be looked after in a more kind of holistic sense.
I think it's an incredibly important service, and I would I would like it to be, you know, as robust and secure as possible.
Because I don't know how either of us would have coped if we hadn't have had access to a complementary team.
Just such a lovely feeling. Words can't explain how I feel about the people I work on and the wards I work on.
And so obviously we're reliant on other people's donations.
Please give lots of money. The charity really needs it. Without the funds, it can't carry on doing this amazing work.
How different would your experience have been without the healing sessions being available to you?
I don't think I would have made it. It meant so much to me.
Seeing these healers, who I hadn't known before, they took me to a different place, somewhere else, out of that isolation room. And that's what I really needed.
If I didn't have, maybe the Reiki wasn't there, I might have fell behind. I might not be here.
Just speaking to him's nice as well. Just really nice people. I wish I could do something to help them.